So here we go, online, live. Good afternoon, viewers. Namaste, Kem Cho, Majama. I know that you might be thinking that why today I am talking in Gujarati. The reason is that today we have with us National Award winning director of the film Wrong Side Raju, Mr. Mikhail Musale. Sir, I, Dr. Hetal Thakur, Associate Professor, Parul Institute of Business Administration, Faculty of Management and Parul University. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Hetal ma'am. Thank you, Shantanu, and thank you to the entire university for inviting me.
Yeah, sir. Before we start, I want that our audience should know your wonderful journey. So, with your kind permission, I want to brief, sir. So let me tell you, audience, that sir is, as I told you, is a national award-winning director of the Gujarati film Wrong Side Raju. Sir is the part of Indians' entry into the Oscar as a jury member, and sir has selected from India Newton as an official entry in the year 2017. Sir is felicitated by Prime Minister of India, Chief Minister of Gujarat, and from Sri Uddhav Thackeray in Mumbai, and from Mayor from Ahmedabad. Very interesting that sir is a creative director and co-founder of the production house Cineman Productions Limited. And let me tell you that these two films have given game-changing movies to the Gujarati movie industry, and those two movies are Kevirite Jais and Beya. Sir is a ad filmmaker and directed more than 30 television commercials up till now. Sir's second film is Made in China, starring Rajkumar Rao, Bomani Rani, Paresh Rawal sir, Manoj Joshi sir, and Moni Roy, and it is produced by Madoc Films. So once again, wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. Thanks for accepting our invitation and spending your valuable time with us, sir. Sir, with this, first question which come to my mind, maybe this question many have asked to you, that you are born in Maharashtrian family, though born and brought up in Gujarat, but you know how you have created interest in the Gujarati movie making, sir.
So yeah, before starting, Hetal ma'am, I would just like to know a bit about the students. How many students are listening here, and what is the background of them? Are they all management students or engineering students?
Yeah, they all are management students, sir.
Okay, and how many students are listening right now? Because I can't see the number.
Even I can't see the number, sir. The reason is that the streaming link and the Facebook Live link is different.
Right. So thank you for the invitation. So, well, actually, talking about being a Maharashtrian family, I am just Maharashtrian by surname, because I born and brought up in Gujarat, and I think so. Jetlu Gujarat mara ragma che and mara blood ma che. I mean, I'm hardly any familiar with any Maharashtrian culture. So every part of cell of my body, everything is very Gujarati. હું ગુજરાતી ફ્લુઅન્ટ વાત કરી શકું છું, અને અહીંયા જ રહેલો છું, અહીંયા જ સ્કૂલિંગ કર્યું છે, અહીંયા જ કોલેજ કર્યું છે. એના પછી પ્રોફેશનલી ઓફકોર્સ અત્યારે હું બોમ્બે રહું છું, બટ ગુજરાત is in me in and out, and that's why it could encourage me and it could inspire me to do 3 Gujarati films. And even the Hindi film which I did was actually based out of Gujarati culture. It was based in Ahmedabad, and whomsoever has watched Made in China would know that. So there is absolutely no doubt of the fact that why would I not know anything about Gujarat, because this is my karma bhumi and this is my janma bhumi, or everything you would say.
Sir, when do you realize that this is something different field? Usually out of the box, many a time people are thinking that to build a career in art or direction or something like that, no? So when this thought click in your mind?
Well, it's been 10 years now, and I still doubt that thought. The reason also the fact that I love to go to college and speak because I think so. I come from the background. I mean, 2010 I completed my engineering.
Yeah, that's what I heard. No, I heard that you are from engineering background.
Yeah,
and
so I know.
shifting to art is just a very out of the box thought.
Well, as of now, it becomes a fad now. A lot of creative people are coming from engineering backgrounds. So back then, 2010, of course, it was a difficult thought. And as I said, that the reason I love to go to college is because I love the mentality what flows into an engineering college or a management college. I do understand the pressures of getting a better job, the placements, the grades, and the merits. And uh, it's usually quite high pressure that ways. And so eventually, even by the time I was completing my engineering in the third or fourth year, I understood the fact that I wasn't a bad student, but I was an average student, and I thought that I genuinely felt that probably my calling was not in this technical field and knowledge. Though I completed my engineering quite fluently and smoothly, but there was a very strong calling for artistics and about cinema and about films. And in fact, on a very later stage of my life, I realized that I want to be a maker. ઘણા બધા લોકો હોય ને એમને કહે કે હું તો બાળપણથી જ મને પાયલટ બનવું હતું કે ડોક્ટર બનવું હતું. Actually મને કઈ જ ખબર નથી. Till the time I was doing my graduation, I was so clueless. કેમ કે 10th standard માં તમે બધા લોકો સાયન્સ લે છે, મેં સાયન્સ લઈ લીધું. 12th standard માં પછી જોયું કે બધા લોકો એન્જિનિયરિંગ કરે, પછી એન્જિનિયરિંગ લઈ લીધું. ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક્સ એટલે લીધું કેમ કે એડમિશનમાં મળી રહ્યું હતું એટલે લઈ લીધું. So by the time it was going with the flow and it was going what everybody was doing, and probably I thought that is right. And on a very later stage, actually, the calling or the realization happened that maybe I'm not good at this, or maybe I would not be able to excel in this. Not that. And then the journey began of the challenging of doing what you really want to do, because I very firmly believe that, especially in our country, if you are choosing non-academics, or if you are choosing anything which is unique or probably doesn't have a very broader aspect, you got to be even better at it. So what I'm trying to say is that probably an average banker or average engineering student or an average manager student might end up getting a job still at a respectable position, but probably being an average or a below average singer or an average guitarist or average filmmaker is little troublesome. And I knew this fact, so hence the challenge has been there, and even now the challenge is still there. It's just that the problems are a little better now, but the problems are still there.
Yeah, sir. I was expecting same that usually, as you have narrated, that is our the flow which is going on in the society, that up to 10th 12th standard usually students might be picking up one stream, and then they don't realize that really they are into art and creativity world. So of late only usually it happens that they realize that no, they are having these hidden skills which they can utilize in career in future. So as you are in and out working in the creative world, no? So I want to know that for our student, that how will you define creativity,
So
because these are management students, and many a time management students, as I know that you are working with the ad agencies and you are directing the ads. So where these are the areas where actually there is a need of creativity.
So creativity in general can be defined of the fact that anything artistically or anything that is been done and achieved in a way little different from what the society perceives or what people have a perception. And creativity is all about breaking the patterns, and probably through unique solutions or ideas. And trying to create a form in whatever field it could be. Either it could be management students or engineering students, or it could be the engineering project, it could be a startup idea, or it could be anything. But trying to bring ideas, and not just bringing ideas, because conceptualizing and bringing ideas very easily, but achieving them, pursuing them, articulating them in a way which creates an impact in whatever the target could be, which creates an impact for you and for the end consumers. And for me, that is creativity. And it's a notion that probably only artists, or probably people working in artistics or art forms, only they need creativity. But I feel that every field, whosoever it could be, I mean, of course, we are now dealing with management students, but Parul as a wholesome university has multiple streams, from engineering students, from civil, electrical, to architecture, and to the management students. I think so. In today's world, where you got to stand out with your ideas, and you got to stand out with whatever you wish to do. Bringing creativity in your work is a very important aspect. Of course, what a university does is that it gives you a push, it gives you a platform of getting your academics right. It gives you a qualification, it gives you all the technical education, and it does empower you. But then at the end, down on a later stage, it is up to the students how to use that knowledge with whatever experience they get, and that's where the creativity comes in.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, as we are talking of, this creativity and the creativity management, it is being observed, that in the past time, if I cite example where they are making the movie, at that time, the basic funda was passing on the message to the public. Art, creativity was the center point. And nowadays, because people are liking, their likeliness has changed. That now they like entertainment out of the movie instead of certain messages. So I want to know, sir, that how do you manage all these objectives together? Commercial objectives, entertainment, art, creativity, messages, while you are preparing either advertisement or whenever you are directing the movies.
I think so. We also forget the fact that we as a country have been producing films since 100 years now. So as creative people, as creative professionals, I think so. We always tell to a lot of people that let's not take our jobs very, very seriously. I mean, people have been making great films. We have numerous examples, and we have probably met the best of the cinema, not just for our country, but in the world. As a country, we produce most of, we are probably the highest producing countries for feature films. But as you said that, yes, of course, since there is a lot of content being coming, not just in feature films, but television and web series and short films. And now, of course, news channels have also become entertaining per se. I mean, so the challenge is definitely there of that sweet spot of how do we still remain quite socially relevant. A movie or an idea which gives out a message, at the same time it is engaging and entertaining. So that sweet spot is very tricky, where it probably gets all the ticks right. And that's what every filmmaker, every director, or every producer, if they strive for it, where even the audience and the box office is happy, the distributors are happy, the producer is happy, the audience is happy, even the critics are happy. So that sweet spot is very tricky to get. I mean, only probably few makers like Rajkumar Hirani, and that's the reason why we love them, because their films have been able to create that kind of impact across age groups and all the audience. So as maker, I think so we are just trying for it. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed. So it's an ongoing challenge for every maker
I
to
would
get
say
it right.
that the star cast of this Made in China. With due respect, Paresh Rawal sir and Manoj Joshi sir, because I have seen even them on the stage, drama and all those things. So I know that they are the best people who can portray the idea in a nice way as far as the passing on or communicating the message is concerned. Sir. Yeah, sir. Uh, One more question, sir, that as far as this movie industry is concerned, you have to work with a different star cast or crew people. Many a time, yeah, stars are having their own demand in terms of their based on their branding and all those things. So I would say that those students who are listening right now, they are the management students, and people management is one of the very interesting thing that you are doing. Because when our students will be going in the corporate world, they need to understand people management, leadership roles, and the HR perspective. So can you throw some light that how do you manage this many people together?
It's a very important question, Hetal ma'am, and that is the reason which the subject of this today's webinar, it really excited me. When I didn't join films, when I was about to join films, at that time I was also watching films just for entertainment, like everybody does. I mean, we go and watch a 2-hour film, we get entertained or we don't get entertained, we come back. And when I entered the field and when I was trying to make films, that time I understood that there is a lot that goes beneath than just movie watching experience. I mean, what we notice as audience is just the tip of iceberg. What goes beneath into the water as iceberg is a havoc of a task. And that havoc of a task, I could only understand, probably be able to achieve or undo that once you get into that process. Because we got to understand the fact that making is not painting. It is the most expensive art form. It's a collaborative art form that hundreds and hundreds of people, they come together and they are trying to probably make a movie out in 120 minutes. Now, to make that 120-minute movie, it may take months, it may take years. So, and now since I said that it's an expensive art form and it's an art form with a lot of responsibility, where so many people come together, not just actors, but technicians, producers, different HODs, and all those people who are experts in their own field. And what is usually a subject which is not been talked about is the management aspect of it. Because creativity, I feel, when you are actually in the process of making a film, is just the last aspect. When you're actually shooting a film, 90% of it, as a producer or as a director, it is just management, and it is managing these people with your leadership qualities, with your management skills, with how sharp you are in dealing with people, what exactly you want. Of course, in the later part of this webinar, I will deeply go inside and try to deal with every aspects that how management qualities and skills are important while we are shooting or while we are prepping up our film, which is a very interesting aspect, because this is what I also learned. I also tried to learn, and I also had to apply, because there is no way you can skip this. That is the only way to make a film. I mean, and I'm not just talking about films like Bahubali, where there's a crew of 1,000, 2,000 people every day on sets working for 12 hours. How are you going to manage and how are you going to achieve if there is no management? So there is some tremendous amount of prep work that goes actually before we start the film. So as I said that creativity is equal to management, and it goes hand in hand when you're dealing with the filmmaking process. And there is no productivity without any planning. And it's usually been said that the stronger the prep, smoother it becomes on the shoot, because I don't think so a film is made on film sets. Actually, the film is made on table. It is that prep work which goes on the table. Filming is just what you decide and what you had prepped for with months and months with your team. So I would say that if filmmaking as a process is divided into three parts. There is a pre-production, there is production, and post-production. Pre-production is a stage where everything that happens before the filming begins, and that is the most important aspect, because that is where probably for 1 month of shoot you may require some at least 8 to 10 months of prep, and the stronger the prep, the smoother it becomes the shoot, because shooting is the point where you don't have time to think. You usually have a schedule of 30 to 40 days, or 40 to 50 days, or 60 days, or 70 days, and you have 12 hours every day on a shoot where there are 300 to 400 people coming. I don't think so the director or the team has even a second to think that how or when are we going to think what are we do. Everything is planned on paper. Even on the first day of my shoot, I have to know that what I'm going to do on the 25th day of shoot. Every shot, every scene has been planned as per the schedule and as per the storyboards and as per the script, because there's a lot of money that is on stake of the producers. Film budgets usually go from 5 crore to 50 crores. Every day there is a cost. If in fact, as an average Bollywood film, every there is a cost of 15 to 20 lakhs being spent. I don't think so. We as directors or as a team have the leisure to decide that and stand and decide कि यार ये इस तरह नहीं इस तरह करते हैं. That all discussions has to go before. And you won't believe the best of the films, or the films which remember the most. Of course, they had great script and great actors, and they were lauded because of the thought. But we forget the fact that it was also great management, and it was great prep work and preparation that went behind those films. I mean, if you see case studies of these brilliant films like Lagan, Gadar, or Rang De Basanti, I'm just naming these few films because those are the films which have been remembered the most. They had some great planning behind it. And the more challenging the terrain it is, the more challenging the locations, the more challenging the external factors, even more prep work is needed. And of course, we'll talk about that prep work and in nutshell discuss about the entire filmmaking process from management point of view further with your questions. Yeah.
I do agree, sir, that whatever you are thinking, that is what the question which comes to our students' mind, that yeah, people management is something which is really very challenging as far as movie making is concerned, because many a time it can be possible that you are at the place where you are surrounded with the public, so it can be possible you need to manage the public and the crowd as well. So that is also one challenging task that people are doing. So with this, like based on your experience as far as movie making is concerned, do you think that stage management and a movie management a lot of difference? When I say stage management, that means the drama or that industry.
So, as you must have heard this line from many people, that television is said to be a writer's medium, theater is said to be an actor's medium, and filmmaking is a director's medium. Of course, the challenging of theater and stage drama are very different because everything is going live there. It has its own set of challenges, and those challenges are more from, of course, prep and management point of view, more from spontaneity point of view, because you can't go wrong once the drama begins. So, but because we are talking about films, so I'll try to focus more about films. So, Hetal ma'am, allow me to go through a process in a nutshell about how the process of filmmaking begins in a very, very nutshell, because I know we are running out of time. This explanation of this is important to come to the point that where does and how does management comes into picture, because I would want the management students to know that filmmaking process, probably it is not just about creativity, or it is not about just art form, because that is, in fact, you won't believe, of course it is important, but it is a very important aspect, and it can only flourish if the management part of it is ready, is correct. So as I said earlier, that creativity is equal to management and vice versa. If it doesn't reciprocate together, so you probably could never be able to achieve what you have on paper. What I'm trying to say says that creativity only is as good as how much it is being able to be managed, and to manage that there's a great management that goes through. Hence, it is hand in hand reciprocated with each other. So, in a very nutshell, of course, because then it can go for hours and hours of explaining how the process works. But as I said earlier, there are three main stages of a filmmaking process. The pre-production is the process that everything happens before the filming. Production is the phase where the actual shooting happens, and post-production is the point where once the filming is completed, and the entire process of what happens after that is in the post-production. So, as far as Hindi films are concerned, how usually a project is bankrolled. So, usually a writer or director are the ones who have a bound script ready. Bound script is a script which has probably all the details, and they approach a producer with that script and idea. And it could be a story narration, it could be a script narration, and it could be giving about the details or about a project, that this is the project, this is the idea, and this is how the vision of the entire film is. Sometimes it could be an entire narration of the script also. Now, based on that narration about the vision given by the director and writer, the producer decides that he wants to take that film or not. If he likes the idea, he'll take the idea. If he doesn't like the idea, then maybe he could be called later, or they would probably, the discussion would end there. Now, these discussions happens at a very top level in the beginning. It's between writer, director, and producers. If they like the idea, if they like the script, they would probably again want to have a narration, and these discussions probably can go on for a few months. Once the producer is convinced that, okay, I love this script and I want to do this script, this project is usually bankrolled. Once it is bankrolled, the project is announced as a soft launch, or probably it is announced in the media also, that this particular director is doing a film with this particular producer, and this is the star cast they have decided. Before that, the producer usually sits with his advocates, with his EPs, with his accountants, to decide the entire budget of the film. That what is the viability of this project? What is the viability of this subject? When are we going to release this? How are we going to release this? What would the star cast? What would the budget of the film? And once they're convinced of the fact that it looks like a viable project, as I said, then the project is bankrolled. Once the project is bankrolled, the director with his core team, he starts prepping up for the project. This is usually the soft prep, where the major casting of the film happens. The major HODs, the head of departments of the films, are finalized. That who is going to be the cameraman, the co-writers, the research team, the VFX team, the music director, and he works in sync with each other. And this core team, they starts prepping up. Once the first phase of the prep work is finalized, where the locations and the music, the sound, everything is finalized, the major pre-production of the film begins. Now, in pre-production of the film, in a film unit, it's usually divided in two aspects. One is the direction department, and one is the production department. Now, the management students would be very interested to know the production department, because the direction team is the one who usually take care of the entire creative side of the film, and the production team, they take care of the entire execution part of the film. Not that direction, they don't have, they both have to be equally strong on creative and production aspect also, because creative in standalone doesn't work. A director and his team has to be very much aware about the budget and about the entire outline of the project. So the ladder system of a direction team is, it starts from director, then there is associate director who helps the director in every creative aspect. Then there is a first assistant director. The first assistant director is usually the chief assistant director. He is the head of all the assistant directors. Now I'm going to talk about the job of the first assistant director, which is usually not talked about in the portals. It's a very important and it's a very crucial job role, which I'll discuss later, because it will help the management students to know that what a first assistant director does and why he is responsible of running the entire show and the set. The first assistant director, the job roles are usually from creating a schedule to managing all the actors and managing all the creative and execution related aspects aspect which a director doesn't has to, because the director is usually busy with many other things. He cannot indulge himself in these things because then he won't be able to direct, or he won't be able to have his focus on the storytelling aspects. So to aid them, there is an entire direction team. First assistant director sits with the executive producer, the production team, and he creates an entire schedule of the film. That for how many days are we shooting this film? What are the number of shots? What the location, the props, the actors, and based on this combination of the dates that they have received from the actors, and based on the combination of the locations, there is a schedule which is being prepared. Now, this scheduling is a very important aspect, because if you go wrong on scheduling, and then you might waste money of your producers, you might not be able to achieve all the shots, and you might then falter. So every detail of all those 45 days, if the number of days of a schedule is 45, what is going to happen, which shot or scene is going to be shot on 23rd day, who are going to be the actors, what props and set designs will be required, who are going to be the supporting actors, how many junior actors we need, what is the location, is it interior, exterior, when it is good, when are we going to do the lunch break on that day. Every aspect is decided and written on that schedule. Schedules are usually, they are printed on A3 sheets because there are so many of details. So the stronger the schedule, the stronger the planning, smoother it becomes for every person. Because usually on a set there are around 250 to 300 people. How are you going to keep everyone on the same page? And every job role is assigned and it is certified. No person does anyone else's job. Everyone's job is assigned that, okay, if you're a lightman, you are going to take care about the lights. If you're a cameraman, you're going to take care about the camera. So first AD usually creates that. Second AD usually creates call sheet. Now I'm specifying this terminology of call sheet because it's a very management related aspect. Call sheet is a sheet which is normally given a day before the shoot, which has all the details, and it is given to all the heads of department. Everyone who goes on a shoot has a call sheet a day before, which has all the details from all the names of the HOD, the details of the director, producer, and the team. What are the shots and scenes are we doing? Even they have details of the temperature, the sunrise, sunset, the medical assist, the junior artists we need. So that no team member can make a mistake that मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कि ये चीज जरूरत थी. Scheduling में होता है मास्टर स्केड्यूल के अंदर, पर अगर 23rd डे को भी 23rd डे ऑफ शूट में भी 22nd रात को सबको कॉल शीट अपने फोन या पेपर मिल जाती है. वो कॉल शीट में हर एक मेंबर को बताया जाता है कि आपको इस रिक्वायरमेंट के साथ कल सुबह को 7 बजे की शिफ्ट में रेडी होना है. वो 7 बजे को ये नहीं बोल सकता है कि 10 घोड़ों की या 10 हॉर्सेस की रिक्वायरमेंट थी, मुझे पता नहीं था. वो रिक्वायरमेंट कॉल शीट में लिखी हुई थी. अगर नहीं होगी तो फर्स्ट एडी उसे पॉइंट आउट करेगा कि आपने ये चीज नहीं करी है, सो दैट there is no scope of a mistake by any member. That's what call sheet do. Then the third and fourth assistant director, they usually take care of the art team and the set design. If the film requires huge sets, there's a background action and there's a lot of coordination required for the movement of the background actors. So those are the job roles by the assistant direction team. And director is the one who usually sits on the chair. So it is his team who executes everything, because he alone cannot manage to handle a crew of 250 to 300 people. So this is where the management goes in the direction team. Now the production team is the one, as I said earlier, they manage the execution part of it. So the ladder system goes that there is a producer who is the one who is the one who's bankrolled the project, who sometimes could finance, sometimes could not be financed also, who is the one who's backing the entire project. Then there are co-producers, there are associate producers, there are creative producers. Then there are executive producers under them. Executive producers are the one who handle the entire execution of the film. Producers himself cannot be on the set all the time. He cannot be dealing with all the team members. So is it the EP? EP is a very common term in film language, where EP is the one who handles the entire execution of it. Now below EP, there's a line producer who handles the day-to-day problems and who takes all the requirements. Where is the food going to be laid out for a team of 150 to 200 people? Where are the vanity vans going to be? what are the locations every day. Because imagine if a team of 250 people working every day, there are multiple problems. Then there are unasked problems, there are unwanted problems. So line producer has to deal with all these problems. So line producer again has a team of 10, 15 production assistants beyond them. There's a production manager, there's a location manager. So these are the people who belong to the production department, and their job is to understand the creativity and aid that creativity with the execution skills. And the demarcation of direction team and production team is very much there. The direction team never interferes with production team works and vice versa. So the management skill is probably even required more towards the production side, because there's a lot of execution that goes beneath. Now, once the 45, 50 or 70, or even if the Bhansali shoot, it goes even for 200 days. Once the primary shoot is been done, there's a very important aspect that because we don't use film rolls these days, all the data which the camera captures is being transferred into hard drives. So even the data is being managed by a data team, because that film data of film is very precious. You can't afford to lose that. So that responsibility is also given to a team of 4 to 5 people who are sitting in a vanity van in an enclosed environment, in a very safe environment, and they are in a very sane mind, without getting any disturb, and transferring the data from the camera into the hard drives. In fact, once the film shoot is been done, there are some tons and tons of hard drives, because the data is so heavy, and that data is very precious because it is equal to money. I mean, a team cannot afford to lose a data which is shot on 22nd day or 23rd day. It's again you will have to shoot again. So there is a special data team who does that. Now this data is constantly being sent to the studio, and the editor, the film editor, he starts lining up that, and the basic edit starts in fact during the shooting process only. So by the time the shoot completes, the entire lineup of the film in terms of shots and scenes is been lined up by the assistant of the editor. So once the prep is done, when the shoot is done, the post-production stage begins. Post-production is a stage where every aspect of which is been shot is been done in studios. So the film director usually sits with the editor, starts lining up the shots, starts cutting the film, starts editing the film. And in a process of, per se, from 2 months to 6 months, the first cut or the rough cut of the film is ready. The rough cut is like, we usually see a 120-minute cut. A rough cut is usually a little longer, which is all the extra scenes also. It could be 150 minutes or 180 minutes. So the film director usually then shows that rough cut to the producer. Now, based on his feedback of how he likes or dislikes, he has his own suggestions and notes. So then further they go editing, further with all the suggestions and the tips he gets, the final cut of the film is made. The final cut is very close to the cut which you see in the theaters. It could be 120 minutes or 130 minutes. Now, once this final cut is ready, these reels, this cut is then 130-minute cut is then divided into several parts in form of reels, because 130-minute cut is usually very heavy. So that file cannot be sent to different studios. So that's why it is cut in 8 to 10 parts like reels, and these is sent to different studios. Now this reels are sent to the music studio, to the sound studio, to VFX studios. There are multiple studios, and they start doing their work respectively in their studios. So the sound guy will start working on the sound design, the music director will start working on the music and the background music, the VFX people will start working on the VFX shots, the animation team works on the animation. So there are 6 to 7 studios where these reels are sent, of course with all privacy, and the director has to visit every studio. So he goes to the sound studio and checks the sound, he goes to the animation studio, checks the animation. So all that process goes for around 6 to 8 months, where the director is usually busy with the post-production of the process. In fact, there's a new terminology called a post-production supervisor. There is a special team who only supervises the entire post-production flow, because this process usually becomes so complex. There's so many people attached, there's so many people involved. It becomes very difficult to track that how the process is going. So the post-production supervisor team, they manage the timelines. Because once the release date is given out by the producer, you have to complete the film at least 2 weeks before that. There's no way you can't do that. And then the reverse clock starts ticking, and that's where they all start running. Meanwhile, in the post production, the producer starts meeting the marketing team, the promo team. So the promo cuts, the song promos, the marketing strategy, the posters, that all, the strategy of it, it begins in sync with this. Now, once the release date is decided, 3 to 5 weeks before the release date, the promos and the posters start coming out, then the trailer comes out, then the marketing plan begins, song promos come out, and finally the film is released on a particular day. And once the film is released, and probably on the Sunday or the Monday of it, the entire team takes a sign of relief that finally now the work is done and the film is out for the people to enjoy. So as I said that as an audience, what we see is just the tip of iceberg. What goes is a plethora of work, and a work which only 5% of people know. There are 95% people who relentlessly work day and night for a film, which are probably never appreciated, whose names don't come out. What we see is just the film stars and actors. Probably the max is the name of writers and directors, but there's a very hardworking team who works to manage the vision of the film director of the kind of film he or she wants to make. So this, in nutshell, is how the process of filmmaking happens.
Sir, I would say only one sentence, that we teach management and you preach management. So, every aspects of management, starting from fundamentals of management, like we do teach, functions of the management, starting from planning to execution. But actually, you people are doing all these things, and for me also, it is really surprising that these many tasks you people are doing then during, and I was, very much surprised when knowing that everyday schedule you are having along with the lunch time and the food management. That is really a great job to do. So I was listening carefully the whole process that you were explaining, but I think there is the possibility that when someday you might be facing challenges, that the schedule might not be going in the way which you have planned. So how do you cope up with these challenges, no, sir?
Hetal ma'am, you would be surprised to know that there is no shoot where there is no disaster management. I mean, all the time we are facing these issues. I'll share you my few of my experiences for my films. So I mean, imagine a thought where I was on the first day of my shoot in Made in China, because I also progressed from regional films to Hindi films. The process is similar. It's just that in Hindi film there are lot more people on a set than on regional film. Probably on the regional sets there are around 60 to 70 people. On the set of my Hindi film on first day there were 280 people to be managed. So that site itself was a little scary for me, because of course when it's your first project you're not used to deal with so many people. But I was thinking on the evening of the first day of my shoot, I was shooting a scene with Rajkumar Rao, and I was just imagining that this scene, I very prominently remember that I had wrote this scene 3 years back, somewhere sitting at my home on a table on my laptop, that this is what happened, this is how the character will come. And that is the magic of cinema, that on that particular day 280 people were helping me to create and execute that vision, what as a thought what I had wrote 3 years back. And that is the magic of cinema, that how fascinating that 280 people are just around me, just trying to get that right of what I had thought of. So this thought, it also comes with a lot of responsibility. When you know that there are so many people working for you, for the film, in fact, day and night, you make sure that that thought is right. You make sure that script is worth. You make sure that the money which the producer is spending, it's worth every penny. In fact, there's a small portion in a film which is shot in China, which was a challenge in the initial process when we were talking, because it was supposed to be shot in China. Now, China in particular is not very location friendly. So, and the cost of shooting in China is normally 2 to 3 times higher than India, because the crew, the language barrier, the locations may not be as friendly as it is in India. So I remember my first day shooting in China, how a small crew we went there, and we also had an international Chinese crew who was there to help us. So we in fact had to be triply planned, because we were just shooting for 6 days, and those 6 days I had to do these particular number of scenes. I had less time, probably I had limited resources, but I wanted to happen all of that. So there is no way you cannot apply management there. You just got 6 days, you have to do this number of scenes, you have these number of parameters. They are very strict, the Chinese, with their guidelines and the way their film shoots begin. And especially when for them an international crew has come to shoot, they probably are even more stricter. So I told my team that creativity is there, of course, but creativity is the last aspect of it. The first and the foremost and the major aspect from the entire prep for China happened was the management skill, not just for the costumes and the art and the actors and direction, but for everyone. Everyone was pushing themselves that what are the challenges of probably taking so many costumes there, or taking the art there, or taking. So it's the only management skills, and this is only the management which can help you to achieve this. If you're not managed properly, if you're not prepped properly, there is no use of that creativity, because you will never be able to achieve and accomplish what you have thought on paper. So, in fact, for management students, being on a film set or working on a film set, I think it's a great aspect, and it can really help you to do in whatever other things you do in your life. Normally, our days when I'm not shooting are not so harsh and are not so hectic, but I very particularly remember the days which we are shooting are very hectic, because you are trying to achieve and always all the time running against time. You're running against the 12 hours. You're given this shift of 12 hours, and all that you have in your mind on paper has to be achieved in the 12 hours, because you're not going to get any extra time after that, or money. Once the time is gone, is never going to come back, and higher the budgets, bigger the actors, bigger the team, the more is the pressure. There is no way you can come back. The time lost is lost, and the running against time. That there's a terminology called bomb under the table. That tickling of bomb is what keeps you going, and what all requires you to be skilled with management.
Sir, we have
So
last 5-7 minutes to go. I want to know that if you can share some of your future projects with the students.
So from 2016, I just did 2 films, Wrong Side Raju, Made in China. Of course, the journey of those films were quite turbulent, exciting, adventurous, all of that. Of course, as they say that when you're trying to make a film, films don't happen that way, because I don't belong to a film background. So pitching that stories to multiple producers, getting a script right, getting those actors, and the process usually it's very challenging. As they usually call it, as struggle per se. So it took away a lot of my time. So now again I'm planning to go back to directing of ad films, which I had temporarily stopped. So I want to go to that 30 second of format, which was again a very interesting format and requires a different skill set. So I'm going back to ad films because of pandemic. A lot of projects which were in pipeline have kind of slowed down. Especially industries in entertainment like events and films have got affected. The shoots have stalled down. Now they are beginning, but they are starting up at a very slow pace. So it has affected us. In fact, a lot of things are going to be changed after pandemic, not just for our field, but everything. It's not just the economic slowdown, but the mentality. And I think so. We being creative people, Probably I feel that our emotional quotients are little more higher. Uh, I believe so, that as they say that to be a good artist, you have to be a good soul and a good human being. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to work on that. It just helps me to be better in my profession. So it has affected us emotionally, physically, mentally. Uh, it's not going to be very easy to restart or resume the projects which I was working on. It's going to take a toll, but as they say that the game never ends. You have to get back to the game. So there is a web series, there are feature film projects, and there are many different art forms and forms which I really want to do. Of course, the wish is to do a web series now because, as you said, that web content is rising day by day. Uh, how and when it is going to happen, fingers crossed. Even I don't know. So it's a waiting game. But the prep work, the hard work, and working with the team, it never stops. It never stopped even in the pandemic, because that has to keep on going. You can't stop working because that would be the end of it. So let's see. Looking forward to 2021. I think so. As everyone is saying that 2020 is almost gone now, and 2020 probably is just survival. So, but I believe that every aspect, even you as university, have been facing a lot of issues. I'm sure video calls after a time they become a little frustrating, and it's probably not the best interactive medium. I mean, it's the best of what we have in our hands as of now. But Hitab, I understand you would also be teaching, and it becomes difficult when you don't get a reaction from the students, and the entire experience of physically teaching, meeting, discussing. Uh, Initially, it was okay, but I think so now it has taken a toll now.
I do agree, sir, that every faculty members, they are feeling the same thing, that many a time it happens, that you are delivering through digital platform, but you miss the live class.
And I must appreciate you, and not just you, but all the teachers across schools and universities, that how much you have to even double prep for your sessions, how much uh, uh, how much every aspect you have to take care of getting the audio quality right, working on the content, how are the students going to perceive and understand. So I understand that probably you will have to work even double or triple than what usually would work. So I think it's a challenging time, and together we're just trying to fight over it, and hoping that things get back to normal. So yeah, these
Sir,
are my
I
plans.
say in Gujarati કે સમય બધા દર્દોની દવા છે. Sir, some message to our students, please.
Yeah, I mean, these are management students. Of course, I believe they're postgraduate, or few must be graduate also. So the end message, I mean, this is what usually I say when I go to college, is that uh, the university will teach you what it has to, and it is give you the education and the platform. But try to be unique, try to try to get inspired, keep working on your skill sets, keep your mind healthy and even your body healthy, because it has to go hand in hand. Read a lot. Even in my career, I realized the fact that I started reading very late, but now I know the importance of reading. Watch a lot of good content. Uh, when I say good content, is probably on better platform or something that can enrich you, and no playing victim card. कि ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है. No self pity are my last words of advice to the students.
Yeah. Sir, first of all, in Gujarati, I want to say Dhanyavad, Abhar, that you have accepted our invitation, and you are, ready to spare your valuable time with our students. You have shared a lot many things as far as management concepts are concerned, because as I told you, sir, that we really teach the concepts, but practically you people are the one who are implementing management. And as far as the whole film industry is concerned, you have shared experiences of the general management, marketing management, then there's human resource management. So thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you, Hital ma'am.
Okay, best wishes, sir, for your upcoming projects. We surely waiting for your blasting upcoming projects.
Thank you for the blessings, and special mention for Shantanu sir, who not just now but who has been encouraging and supportive with us since 2015, since the time we were doing Gujarati films. So special mention for him of always been taking such keen interest in films, in us, and giving us a platform through Parul in whatever form or way we need. So thanks to him also and the university for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.